Hello and welcome back to my Let's Challenge of Final Fantasy XIII. In the last episode, we made our way through virtually the penultimate section of Chapter 9 here on the Palamecia, the starboard weather deck. We made our way through that, and now we are here with Lightning, Hope and Fang going into the first of a couple of mini-bosses that we're going to... Well, I say mini-boss, they are bosses. A couple of bosses that we're going to face, and then we're going to have another long section of battles. Hopefully we'll be able to get through that, because all getting through that leads up to the final battle of Chapter 9 and the first truly difficult challenge that there really is in this game, in my opinion, as things go. So, anyway, equipment. As you can see, we got only thing that changed, I put a Foreman ring on Fang, because the next enemy we're going to face is going to be all about the lightning. And also, Crystarium people are up to various... I was just pretty much aiming for the roll levels, because the roll levels are really, really useful. And also paradigms, we've changed the paradigms up, but you can see that we've got a hell of a lot more offensive for these battles. We've got Relentless Assault, Smart Bomb, Decimation, Delta Attack, Diversity, Combat Clinic, my usual set of damage, debilitation, augmentation, shielded but manages to maintain the stagger, healing but attacking and healing and defending. So, anyway, here we are on the starboard weather deck and ready to face off against our next major foe. Let's see what happens.
So, Light, how do you figure this makes us lucky? Because when we kill it, we're one step closer to Vanille. How's that? Well, when you put it that way...
So, let's meet the Cavalinka Striker. So, we are definitely going to Libra you twice. Make sure we get everything we need. So the important thing about this guy is, as you can see, powerful lightning-based attacks, delivers physical attacks, susceptible to slow, curse. Also, lightning is absorbed, halved is aero, halved is normal physical attacks, so you've got to watch out for that. So now that we have slow on, we're just going to wait for curse to land. You can see that even without lightning being too involved, the stagger is very well on its way to being got, which is really good. We're going to be able to go to Relentless Assault now and really pulverize this guy as much as possible. Fortunately, Fang is going to go for Ruins a lot here, and obviously Ruin isn't ideal for us. We don't really want her ruining, because Fang's physical is a hell of a lot... Fang's physical attacking is a hell of a lot stronger than her special. So sorry, her magic. Special, physical, I'm getting very Pokemon-y. Okay, so Lightning's doing about 2,800 a hit, Fang's doing 2,700, so there's really not that much difference actually between them, which is good. Good to see, at least. So we get a smite off really nicely there from Fang. Does 11,000 damage. Only got 2,000 hit points left. This shouldn't take long. But obviously, we couldn't really have something this simple now, could we? Nope. We are, of course, going to have a second part to this boss.
Another one! One big fat stroke of luck after another. I'm so happy I could cry.
Tease us, will ya?
Go down here!
Vanille!
There you are. Miss me? You, the monster! Where?
So a second Palamecia striker comes straight back in. As you can see, nothing, everything's the same except for the fact that the chain resistance is a hell of a lot higher on this one. This guy, yeah, essentially is going to start attacking a hell of a lot. Sorry, our stagger is going to be going a lot slower. And obviously, is going to be a lot more aggressive as well, none of which is really good news for us. This is by far, obviously, the harder of the two battles, as you would imagine. Anyway, we do want to get Curse on. Curse would be lovely. And it does obviously mean that a Smart Bomb is still a very applicable paradigm for us, which is really nice. We will see an attack called Hellstorm Bolt, which is its primarily the big dangerous attack that we do need to worry about this guy. And we will be going pretty much immediately. Yeah, okay, there we go. As you can see, it does a bunch of damage, and depending on who it's aimed at, is obviously a bit of a, can be problematic if it's aimed at Hope, just being the one with the lowest amount of health, stuff like that. But anyway, we do get Stagger, which is nice. Now we can hopefully start getting some real damage off on this guy. I do like using Diversity here. Diversity is a really nice paradigm. It essentially, I mean, we've lost Slow, which is a little frustrating. So we might go back to... we might go to Smart Bomb here, just to get Slow back on, because Slow is really helpful. Having an enemy do far less attacks in the same amount of time is never a bad thing. Because this is largely a magic-based battle from our perspective, it does mean that obviously we spend an awful lot of time down here on the ground relative to the enemy. So come on, smite, 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 smite. Nope. Okay. So we're going to go to quickly go to Combat Clinic. I just want to get some health, and also. So who's that going to hit? Again, hit Hope. But he is more than capable of helping himself. We could have used Decimation here and actually got Bar Thunder up as well. That's the other thing I could have done. What do you think of after the events? Yeah, one of them has gone good. Still, second stagger should be pretty simple to get here, and then don't want to be too low on health, must be said, but for an enemy that's slow, you are attacking mighty fast. Still, very low on health, 6,000, so how much are we doing? We're doing just over 1,000. I kind of just want to keep attacking, not gonna lie. There we go, lovely. Down goes the Palamecia striker. Lovely, and down, and now we get a very nice little cutscene.
Still got time. Bang! There's something I need to tell you. Making me worry like that. We'll talk later, Missy.
What's wrong? Huh? Oh, Nothing. Nothing. What's on the agenda? Toppling the sanctum? No. I mean, really.
He's serious. We're gonna take down the sanctum and give Cocoon back to the people. The Fal'Cie have called the shots for long enough.
If we pull this off, it'll be a miracle.
Well, good thing Lady Luck's on our side.
More of them? You know, this is getting really old.
Check this out. A miracle. Ren Pulse style. Vanille, go fish. Got it.
That's a good girl.
All right. Let's get on. Believe in Lady Luck now?
Yeah. Lady Bad Luck. Oh. Time to purge a Primarch.
You got it. Yeah.
I had my doubts, but I also believed that if we stuck together, somehow we could change our fate.
Isley's through there.
We're still gonna have our talk. So let's survive this first, yeah?
Right.
So there we go. We now have the battle team formation, which now means we can change our team. However, in this situation, we can't actually change our team leader. So Lightning is forced to be the leader. So that means that all we can do is we can just create around her. But, so what we're going to do is for this first little section, this first section is actually rather difficult. There's a lot of really annoying little battles to be had here. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this team for the moment. Not for the whole thing. Eventually we will go full offense, which means taking Snow out and putting Saz in, because that's a really good offensive team. But what we are going to have is we're going to have this team. So that is our main. We're going to have... The reason that this is really nice is because it means we get a Smart Bomb, which is always useful. We have the best Sentinel in the game in Snow for Matador, which is actually essentially our version of Mystic Tower in this team, and very useful actually. We're going to have a we're not going to have a dirty fighting. We're going to have a Delta attack along with a solid a diversity, as we've seen before. Now diversity should obviously be actually that way around. So. Obviously, we have a few things that we need to sort out with regards to items, equipment, etc. That works. We want to remove that. Okay. So, and now we want to equip on Snow. We want to have essentially a power wristband, and he doesn't really need the health. but he can use a. Let me just go to inventory, accessories, and then on Vanille we're going to have a tungsten bangle and a magician's mark. No doubt we can actually put the brawler's wristband on you and the shaman's mark. Get that way around, good. And I like the tungsten bangle and the whistlewind scarf on lightning, so good. Well, that is that sorted. Now all we need to do is Crysteri. So as you can see, lightning is actually a level 3 in everything, which is really nice. We're going to be able to get her to raise here, which I believe is her last ability that we're actually needing. Vanille, we haven't really, obviously we haven't seen since the little section with her and Saz, so we've got a few things to go around on hers. She is pretty much the best medic in the game right now, and she is a better medic. Like, Hope eventually becomes a better medic, you know, just because of his superior magic stat, which means he does more damage, but which means he just, you know, he'll end up healing more. But Vanille is really, really good at the moment. And then Snow can hopefully get to his 2 roll levels as well. Yes, he can. Lovely. So, I think Snow is the furthest along in his Crysterium from the looks of things. Yeah, so the only other thing is let's actually finish off his Sentinel. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so this is going to be our team for the next little section, and this little section is full of difficult battles. Like, rather impressively difficult battles, actually. A good challenge this is beforehand. Oh, the other thing is Kalavinka. So obviously we just faced off against Kalavinka strikers, and for those wondering where that name comes from, so Kalavinka is a fantastical immortal creature in Buddhism with a human head and a bird's torso with a long flowing tail. So that's where the name comes from, if anyone was interested. So we want to lead off Smart Bomb here, because Smart Bomb is such a good paradigm, so good in like virtually every situation.
Let's get this over with.
So our first introduction to Destroyers. Destroyers are essentially bazooka-wielding Psychom soldiers, and they are very, very dangerous. Essentially, if you see a destroyer in the opponent's setup, then really you want to take out the destroyer first of all, because the destroyer is pretty dangerous. If you let him get off his bazooka, it will do a bunch of damage, and there's nothing you can do about that. The infiltrators, obviously, we've already seen before. They're actually relatively weak at this stage of the game, and also, thankfully, they sort of get involved with their sort of wanting to heal each other, which is really nice for us, because, as I've said before, anytime an enemy anytime enemies are healing each other, it's time that they're not attacking you, and generally, almost always, enemies will not be able to heal enough to counteract the amount of damage you do to them. So I do need to swap this around, because lightning should not be calm here, Snow should be. So we'll change that after this battle. Lovely, there we go, good. Paradigms. Lovely, okay, so essentially the way this area works is that you essentially can create bridges using these little green paths to the various areas of this map, and there are lots of them. You do want to move relatively fast through this area because the enemies will respawn if you're not quick enough, and ideally, obviously, you don't want that to happen. So we get our next So we're going to head up here because there are items at the high end of both these sides of the room, and these are actually, if I remember correctly, they're pretty good items as well. I think one of them's a gold bangle, which essentially take a... So a pain dampener, obviously, is either an... I believe it is an item which obviously prevents pain from... it'll obviously make it harder for enemies to land pain on you. The status, obviously, not the general idea. Okay, so as you can see, we have a dragoon set up here. Dragoons with a destroyer. So this is going to be dangerous. We're going to want to start off in Matador. Because once again, the destroyer is the most important enemy here. There we go, we get that D-Protect on, lovely, that's what we want to see. And thankfully Snow just has so much health that really he can really tank most of these hits. Whilst Vanille is so good she's just so good as a saboteur. Like, easily the best saboteur in the game. By a long way. And she just causes absolute devastation amongst your enemies. You can see that Snow already, almost, you know, it seems that Snow already has a better provoke than Fang ever had when she was Assad. She's able to, you know, attract the attention of virtually everyone. So he's able to attract the attention of virtually all of the enemies. So I've only got a couple more dragoons here. We still want to just be a little careful, but ultimately Relentless Assault and Smart Bomb are going to be able to get us through these last few battles. You'll obviously notice I don't have a Synergist in this team. Synergists... Yeah, essentially, I always find that saboteurs are generally better than Synergists. Like, just generally more effective in what they manage to do, which is obviously, they essentially do the same thing, which is they both want you, want to speed up a battle for your sake. But Synergists just do it that little bit better, I always find. Okay, so we've got a nice set. This is an interesting set of battles, actually. So we've got Destroyers, we've got Huntresses, and we've got a Reaver, which is not a fun enemy to see. Okay, if we could get D-Protect on this guy, that would be beautiful. Neil, you're going to attack at all. Oh no, you're oh god, you're dispelling it. That's not what we want to see, Vanille. I need you. I need you on song. I need you to follow what I ask you to do. We cannot let this guy get off the bazooka. It's just a rule. And obviously, the nice thing is that if you get your, you know, if you get yourselves in the air, generally it's very difficult for the enemies to actually hit you. That's why launch is so nice. But there we go, okay. Now, Huntresses. So obviously interesting that the first thing that they cast on themselves, or sorry, the last thing, is that the last thing, that's probably the last thing they cast on themselves, is Bravery, which obviously increases the amount of damage that they do. Okay, Mana Drive Deprotect is dangerous on Vanille. If this Huntress is able to attack Vanille, will not end well. Okay, so 2 diversity. So let's see how dangerous these Reavers are. We do a fair amount of damage. We haven't seen any Mana Drive moves from them, which is usually they would have. Usually these sort of high level. I guess what are they called? I'm sure they have like a specific term. Yeah, but they're like elites or whatever within the Psychom structure, but they almost always have the ability to charge Mana Drives. Like, you're immune to Deprotect? No, you're not. So we're able to cast Deprotect, which is interesting. And dangerous to an extent, but really, if we can get Deprotect on you, that would be lovely. We can't. Come on, Vanille. There we go, lovely, well done. So now D-Shell will also be great. Imperil is equally useful. But as you can see, Deprotect just increases the damage you do so much. It's so good. That's going to land, it's going to take damage. And there we go, lovely. Down you go. Thank you, Vanille, for giving us the ability to win that. So, we'll essentially make a sort of an extended zigzag pattern through this area. We don't want to essentially do any battles. Obviously, we don't want to do any battles twice, just for speed's sake. And there are a fair amount as we get an Umbra, which is obviously a weapon for snow. We will see what it does once we head back up here. We have one battle with a Thermodon and a Destroyer. Interesting. This one I feel like we could be very aggressive with if we wanted to. This one. Oh, of course, she's attacking the thing that's weak to something. That is the only annoying. That is always the annoying thing with whenever you're not controlling, and it is the CPUs who are controlling something. Whenever they make the worst decisions. Come on. There we go. Lovely. Nice. We want to get rid of this destroyer. So obviously we could be further increasing the damage we could do through using synergists, using bravery and the elemental end spells and stuff like that, but we really don't need to. We're doing more than enough damage, and I feel like including having either synergist in our team would really lower it, because you could only really sub. You can't really have a team of Lightning's Hope Vanille, because you've got your 3 characters all with the lowest total health, and you have no Sentinel to block attacks. Obviously, you have 3 medics, but medics won't save you from everything. As we get some rune bracelets, which Let's just see what each of these do. Inventory, weapons, and Umbra. Improved Ward improves the defenses of those who place themselves in harm's way to protect others. Interesting. I'm pretty sure it's not as good as the one I'm currently using. So rune bracelets increase your magic resistance. So anyway, we'll head down here. We'll then take the next step down. We should then have what? I think there are 4 more battles to go. Really, and then I think we're done. Here is one of them, and this does not look like a nice set. What do we have? We've got a boring guy. Oh no, 2 boring. Okay, so obviously our primary targets are going to be the Dragoons here. Hopefully, Vanille should follow us with this. No, she does not. She follows the Reaver for some reason. Oh, beautiful snow. Well done. Given that that person had only been hit by... that's bad, that's bad. That's even worse. Yeah, snow took a lot of damage there. Okay.
Keep a cool head.
We really did need to do the Asuna there, otherwise, yeah, Snow would not really have been able to survive. Okay, diversity now. Let's get some more health back. We don't want to be attacking you, we want to attack the Raiders now. The Raiders should go down relatively fast, hopefully. We have battled these guys lots of times before. Admittedly, Vanille and Saz obviously haven't faced Raiders, I don't believe. So they are not immune to anything, which is really nice. They can cast Pain, so that's why you get the Pain Dampener at the start of this chapter, is because of these enemies that can cast Pain. Mana Drive D Shell, interesting as well. Jeez, Vanille just put on the largest dump of status elements on that guy. Lovely, lovely what we want to see. Are you weak? Susceptible to Deprotect. That's why Vanille went for Deprotect on this guy first. Okay. Do we know everything about you? We don't. Just to be sure. So obviously we're going to get Stagger here, and Snow's going to be able to launch just as he's starting to charge his Mana Drive, which is lovely. We can now go into Smart Bomb, try and get as many statuses on this guy as possible in a short amount of time. Common Vanille, I know you can do this. Deprotect, get that Deprotect on, we need it. Beautiful, and now Snow is doing a huge chunk of damage every hit. Just in case you had any ideas. Lovely, down he goes. Okay, so that is that week now. We want to head across. and then head across, and then head down again, and then middle and down. This looks relatively simple, this battle. Famous last words, but we've faced all of these enemies before. Of course, Vanille's going.
Keep the enemy off balance.
For the wrong enemy, unfortunately, but there we go. We should hopefully still be able to take this guy out within the very short stagger that we're going to get here. Lovely. Okay, good. Obviously, the nice thing about Snow also is that Snow does have those all-important 4 ATB slots. Just like Saz, just like Lightning, because they're the only ones who have obviously got their Eidolons. And because they have 4 ATB slots, that means they're doing a little bit more, you know, they're getting that one more attack each time in, which is really nice. So we should get Stagger before this Photon Burst is released. Lovely. Vanille should hopefully be able to get D-Protect on this guy. There he is. And now we can. Just let Snow do all the work, take out this guy really fast. These are a nice set of battles. They really do test your sort of understanding of just the game mechanics, give you a nice idea as to whether is a good test, because obviously this is the first time that you actually get the chance to create your own team, and what these challenges do is it really does give you a very strong message as to whether like your team is too aggressive, too defensive, whether you're doing these battles you know, successfully or not. And ultimately, if you can complete all of these battles, which ultimately we should be able to do, because the rest of these aren't too well. We've only got 2 more to go, and then the final battle. Go on, I'm sure you want to turn around. No, you don't. Okay, fine. This is another one we can be aggressive on, because oh, there is a destroyer. Okay, cool. We do actually need to be aggressive towards him then. So we are obviously taking quite a lot of damage. We will go to Diversity after this. Thankfully, as you saw there, obviously Snow was in mid-air just as that guy actually landed, which was really nice. Good news for us. So yeah, all we need to do is just take out these infiltrators, these remaining infiltrators. Which should not take long because they do have very low stagger. Obviously just attacking a little bit too fast for everyone. Lighting in there. Lovely. Now it's a smart bomb. Get this Thermodon staggered and imperiled and all of the other stuff, and then he'll go down nice and fast. That's the nice thing about, you know, these sort of I don't know what to call them really, but these shielded enemies are really nice and relatively simple to take care of, thankfully. Because as soon as you get them staggered, they're pretty much defenseless. There we go, lovely. So, Vanille will all get her Deprotect on. And now we can go into Relentless Assault. Lovely.
No problem.
That was a really nice battle, actually. Did that very nicely. Just going to check something. Enemy intel on... Yeah, okay, good. Just wanted to make sure I had full intel on the destroyer. Shouldn't have been a problem, but there we go. So we've now got, obviously there are 3 more items for us to collect. As you can see, there's one here, one over the other side. There's another 2 battles for us to do to finish off this this episode. And then we will be in position to take on the final boss of Chapter 9. And what a final boss he is at the start of the next episode. So we get a gold bangle. So obviously a gold bangle is just essentially an upgraded tungsten bangle. We will put it on lightning. Gold will be at the bottom. There we go. So you can obviously see the dragoons just floating about. They'll obviously be part of one of the enemy formations in this area. I'm surprised we haven't actually had the Reavers actually cast any magic spells yet. We've actually had a lot of good luck with regards to that. We might have some trouble now, though, because this is not going to be easy. Do we actually have 2 or do we have 3 battles? We have a trio of Inquisitrixes there. No, we don't want to do that, actually. We want to start off in Relentless Assault, actually. Ouch! So, a difficult setup this. We definitely want to try and take out one of these dragoons as fast as possible. Anything with these dragoons seems to be the harder, certainly the harder setups of these areas. So, especially with a mana drive Deprotect enemy, that is not a nice setup. We will obviously want to heal very, very soon. I didn't want to go to a missile burst, annoyingly. Thankfully, these guys do stagger easily. That's the only good thing about dragoons, really, is that they stagger easy. Okay, so this guy will be staggered. There we go. 2, 3, 4, lovely. So hopefully, as long as we can take out this dragoon before Snow suffers, we should be fine. Good, okay, so go to Smart Bomb very quickly, obviously our best stagger building paradigm. So come on, let's keep going. Deprotect. Would be lovely. So no luck with the Deprotect, unfortunately, but we are going to get Stagger, and then hopefully these spells will land a little easier. As soon as we get Deprotect, we can go to Relentless Assault. There we go, lovely, well done, Snow. Okay. Hopefully we're going to be able to fit in these last two battles. I'm just a bit wary because I feel like my recording software might just die on me. So hopefully we won't end up with any like dramatic cuts. Okay, so we got some 2 destroyers and Inquisitrix, is that? Sorry, a Huntress. I keep calling them Inquisitrixes. We will eventually meet Inquisitrixes, I'm pretty sure. But we shall see. We'll take out the Huntress here. Obviously, normally I would take out the destroyers first, but frankly, the Huntress will do a lot of damage as well, and we can take her out very fast with the help of Dispel. Interesting that Snow still goes for attack, even though she does have Protector. Normally she would stop. Nice duck and dodge there from Lightning, and there we go. Lovely. So we get Stagger incredibly fast. One hit and down. Okay, there's Bazooka. Let's see how much that. See, only does 300 hertz actually, but it does knock you on your. It does knock you down and has the tendency to interrupt your actions. I think once they start doing it, they will continue to do it, which is why it's always important to get rid of them quickly. Because obviously, if you can stop them doing it the first time, then they can't do it. You know. If you can stop them doing it once, they can't do it any other times as well. So we're going to head down here. Is there another battle? There is not another battle. We are done in this chapter. So we're just going to grab this item, and obviously grab the item at the on the middle platform heading down. And then we will call this episode to an end, and we will be in prime position to face off against the final boss of Chapter 9, and yeah, a really fun battle, a really fun, difficult battle. I always feel like in this sort of game, if you can't have fun with the difficult battles, then you're not, and you haven't got the right setup, and you don't, you're not treating the game right. You know, the difficult battles are the fun ones, and it's these sort of the easy ones are the ones that you don't need to think about are the boring ones. So thankfully we don't get any respawning enemies, which is really nice as well. We collect everything in this area. We've done that really, really nicely actually, really fast. That was a really nice team to work with. I don't think I've ever used that. Normally I've worked with Saz in this area. As I mentioned earlier, I usually go very aggressive by now, and Saz is the most aggressive because you then have, you obviously have attack. We can do this, can't we? So there we go, we get a vial of Ether Salt. The reason you get the Ether Salt is because you might want to use it right now. We will be using Shrouds at the start of this battle because it makes things a hell of a lot easier. And this is a very good battle to use Shrouds on. So, I hope you have enjoyed this episode of my Let's Challenge of Final Fantasy XIII. We are here at the end of Chapter 9. We're going to have some long cutscenes, then an epic battle, then another long cutscene, and then we'll be in Chapter 10. So I hope you will join me on the next episode where we will be taking on the Chapter 9 final boss. I'll see you then.